Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bite Time. My name is Terry Two, and today's show will be called "The Small and Mighty Beasts of IT." Probably saying, "What is this guy talking about on a Monday night?" And he should have been on over the weekend, but no. This is going to talk about some of the small and about some of the up and coming small tech cities on the East Coast. All right. Some of you heard of, some of you haven't, and you're going to be surprised how a lot of companies are drifting away from the large cities into the smaller, pop, lower populated areas. So look into all that. What kind of factors are determining the IT companies making those decisions like that? So look into all that. Also, we got a playoff game right now, NFL between Pittsburgh and the Houston Texans right now, and I don't know what the score is. We're getting all that. And then we're going to have a special announcement for our very special show on Saturday. So let's come on back. Have a great time. Live that funk. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. You're probably saying to yourself, why is this guy on the Monday night? He should be watching the NFL football game. But you know what? I'd rather do this podcast. This is going to be a quick one, not a long one. So we're gonna talk about this in something that's kind of cool to talk about because we always talk about the major cities. We're going to talk about some of the smaller cities on the East Coast. But before we go any further, I am doing a special. I do this every year since I've been podcasting. I'm doing a special show podcast on Saturday morning, 11 o'clock sharp, and we're going to keep it going for an hour, if not longer. I am looking for anyone that's in the IT business, either the owner of a company or just a regular worker like myself that would like to come on. We're going to dedicate this show to Martin Luther King because if it weren't for Martin Luther King, I don't care if you're black, white, or whatever, he stood up for so many things. And I feel that it would be a great show to acknowledge him for not just what he's done for minorities, he's done for everyone in this world. And where things are going on today, I think this will be a great time to have that show. So anyone that's listening tonight that wants to come on my show, I don't care who you are. Just tell me who you are, um, what line of IT business. I don't care what company you work for. I don't even want to know that. But just tell me what business you do in IT and let me know how you feel about it. Um and let's talk. So what's gonna be Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to come on through. We'll have a good time. We're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna dedicate it to Martin Luther King. All right. What else we got? So, like I said, this is an impromptu. Reason why I'm doing this show tonight is because I had to go out. I went out of town up to Jersey, my neck of the woods, and I went to see my granddaughter, my son and his fiance. So I took a trip up north, up to Jersey, to go see him, and she's such a beautiful little girl and just as happy as can be with her tablet. Of course, she's another one with the tablet. So, but it was great to see her, my son, and everyone. So that's why this is not going to be a long show either. It's not that long, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get started. So today's show, we're going to talk about some of the up and coming cities, small cities on the East Coast, and that are tech centers. Some of the cities you probably heard of, some you haven't, but we're going to get into all that. And it's really cool because a lot of companies are trying to leave the metropolitan, the New Yorks, the LA, Silicon Valley. Who's the other ones? DC. Uh, you just name those cities, and they're able to go to these smaller areas because they're being lured there because of tax breaks, and plus you can hire workers, and um, it'll be easier. So here's just some of the reasons why. So there's a lot of data centers going up around the country, right? So what we have now is okay. So we can't finagle our way with the big boys in the big cities. Let's go out to the smaller areas, smaller where population is much smaller. So what's happening is they go to these people. There might be town administrators and say, "Listen, we'd like to build a data center here. Um, what can you do for us?" So there, here come the packages of economic incentives, lower. This is one of the things: taxes, lower taxes, um, you name it. It's a big, big deal in a lot of cities. Like here in Maryland, we have data centers here in some of the smaller areas. Virginia has a lot of data centers. A lot of people saying that it's making their electric bill go up higher, but I think that's going to change in the near future with that. Um, Plus, the land is much cheaper when you get away from the big hubs, and you have talent. Okay, you have talent in some of these areas at smaller population, and it's an incentive even for the workers to live in these areas. Okay, one main thing that you have when you go out to these smaller areas, lots of land, electricity, water to keep the servers cooled down. Um, and like I say, if you go to rural areas, um, the cost, all right, the cost is much lower. Okay, a lot less zoning restrictions. You know what I mean? You know that for a fact than in the urban areas. State and local governments get involved. Like I was saying earlier, some of the towns around here, Dumfries, Virginia, there's a few other places where their local government is giving the IT companies a lot of tax breaks, and that's really important because that's something that can be beneficial for everyone. So if they come, guess what's going to happen? So you have workers. This is how the trickle down economics. I'm going to try it this way. So if you have workers that work at these data centers, there'll be a incentive to have more stores, places for food, gas station. So what does that do? That brings all that money into that area. So this is what they're getting at, and it's sometimes a word tax revenue. Okay, people get, people like say, like I worked at places where I had to get my car worked on. So the gas station or or the garage was like a hop and skip from the door. So that was easy. This is what I'm saying, how it brings more into those areas that were like less congested. This is why a lot of companies are going to smaller cities. Okay. Low cost power, okay, especially for the hydroelectric dams, much lower power, but still you're gonna use a lot of water to keep those servers cooled down. Um, Also, talent. Okay, you got some people that don't want to live in the cities or congested or big areas, right? They rather be out in the country or a less populated area. Okay, um, people want to move closer to nature. They want to. Some people like being out there in nature, that type of thing. Um, that's really important. Also, you have the educated workforce too. Okay, you have some towns that have partnerships. Let's say um, different universities, like University of North Carolina, Research Triangle. They have um, programs with University of North Carolina, Duke, NC State. Um, Towns, other towns, like you get some of the upstate towns in New York, they have with the universities and colleges, and this is something that's going on right now. And the smaller cities have that talent pool. So, say for instance, they hire someone as a, um, I don't know, summertime worker or whatever, or they're working as a what's the word to use? I can't think of it right now, but you know what I mean. But they come on like an after work program or work study program, then eventually get hired. This is another thing that works out better in the smaller areas. Okay. Also, innovation. You got the area, right? You might have some people might be a future Bill Gates. All right. You have some people that might be um, who's it? Sergey Brin, right? All right. And you have people like that. You never know. You never know. In these areas, you might have someone like that. So that's something to think about. All right. And also with these areas, like say, especially data centers, so you have, you need data. The data centers are going to have working AI. So don't forget now, it needs a lot of power. All right. So that's where it's coming to play. Cloud computing, you know what I mean? Servers have to be checked and everything. They need that. They still need it works better in the rural areas or less dense areas. Data storage and you know, this is the things that some of the small town America can offer. All right. And those jobs that are going to be in there. So you got software developers, AI specialists, engineers, general tech workers, working help desk or you name it, that type of thing. These are some of the things, and people want a quality of life now instead of the hustle and bustle working in areas like I do. But they feel better in more out in a more abstract, less dense area, and this is what's happening mostly on the East Coast. There's some things going on down south, but we're going to talk mostly on the East Coast. All right. Like I said, it's mid-sized, small areas, not large cities. You have talent. Like I said, you software developers, AI specialists, just general tech workers, like say help desk or working as an analyst or a SME, engineers. All those people make a big difference. Another thing too. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. We said about the quality of life. Cost of life is dramatically lower. Okay. Quality life, people want that, they wanna come outside, you know, like me, I got a traffic in the morning, but if you live out in more less dense areas, okay, um, you see the deers running over here and all that. I see a deer over here behind my house all the time, but there's deers running and it's hear the birds chirping and everything, and those smaller areas have that fresh air, you're not smelling things burning up or anything like that. Also, remote workers. This is another thing. Remote workers can be involved in that too, right? Because basically, remote worker, say for instance, you work for a company, and let's say the company's based out of Manhattan or Los Angeles, right? But you could be living in Walla Walla, Washington. I'm just making it up, but something like that. Okay. Um, so the emerging hubs we're going to talk about. I mean, we're going to talk about here's some of the emerging hubs. Austin, Texas. It's not really emerging. They're huge tech down there. Nashville, Tennessee. All right. It ain't about country music and wearing the big boots and all that. They're also smart. And a lot of companies from out of Manhattan and some of the big cities are moving to Nashville. A lot of financial companies are moving to Nashville, Tennessee. Right. Raleigh's been that way for 20 some years. Okay. IBM's been there. Cisco's been down there for over 25, 30 years. And there's also some cities in the Midwest. So that's something to think about. Okay. Other cities that are coming along, you have Utah, Idaho, even Arkansas. Okay. And we're going to talk about some of the fast moving, we're going to talk about some of the fast growing East Coast cities that are starting to get these tech workers. Now, some of them are cities, but they're not that big. Okay. First and foremost, Trenton, New Jersey. Now, it's not the cleanest place in the world, but the outlying areas outside of Trenton are nice. Okay, Lambertville, I think that's one of them. Uh, there is what is that area up from? I know Lambertville is one of them. Um, South Brunswick's not that far from there. There's another town that's right in there. It's where Trenton State University is. I can't think of it, but you're not that far from Princeton. Okay, Princeton's no more than about a half hour away from Trenton. Okay, um, Ewing, excuse me, Ewing, New Jersey. That's not that far, and that's one of those areas too. All right, Jersey City. Now, Jersey City has almost got 500,000 people in there. Okay, but they're emphasizing here. I know I basically grew up there in Jersey City, um, because New York is right across the river. But downtown Jersey City is a hub of financial IT, and it's extremely expensive, though. It really is. So I don't understand why they have that in here because Jersey City is not cheap at all. Downtown Jersey City, and then unless you go up the hill, and then it's a different ball game. But um, it is proximity to Manhattan because you have the PATH train right there. You have ferry service going there. New Jersey Transit buses going over. Yeah, it's just a win-win-win, and that's why the area downtown Jersey City, at Exchange Place, is really, really blossoming. Okay, Hartford, Connecticut. Why not? Okay, it's a tech hub. A lot of startups. Yale University is not that far from there. Okay, you're not that far from Manhattan, Massachusetts, so you can get a whole pool of students to work there, like work study programs. Okay, Rochester, New York. I have family there. Corning, New York. Rome, Utica. Okay. The Rochester, New York area is specialized in optics. Corning, Corning glass. You need glass to make and fiber. They make fiber cables, and Corning does glass for your TVs. All right, for your computers or your laptop. Excuse me. They do it all. Okay. Rome they build drones. Now there used to be Air Force Base in there. There used to be an Air Force Base in Rome, New York. Okay, and let's get this right. Okay, here we go. There used to be a Air Force Base in Rome, New York. Okay, and that let me get that real quick. And that Air Force Base, Glasser, I think that's what it was. Now it's a tech center in Rome, New York. All right, and like I said, it used to be an Air Force Base, and now it is I guess, a booming tech center. And I've been through Rome before. Nothing to write home about, but it's a very small city. Okay. And you can just imagine. Yeah, Griffiths Air Force Base used to be there. Now it's a actual tech center. Okay. And yeah, it's a very large Griffith business. It used to be called Griffiths Air Force Base, used to be, but now it's Griffiths Business and Technology Park. All right. So there are companies that build drones in that area, and I'm gonna get that really quick for you, real quick. And yeah, they build drones. I did not know that, ladies, because I was doing research on this, and I didn't know. I knew it was a base. There used to be an Air Force base up there, but and I did not know they were a big drone company in their area. And let me just pull that up real quick. Sorry about the delay, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear this little bit of music real quick. But yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. That shocked me when I heard that. Like I said, I haven't been back in years. That's something to think about there. So let's see what they say. See what they say about the drone company in Rome, New York. Let's do this. Okay, so it's called Drone City. This is something that I never knew. Drone City, ladies and gentlemen, that's what it's called. An aerospace-based company at the Griffith Business and Technology that develops advanced unmanned systems for air, land, and sea applications. They were recently selected for a prestigious NATO innovation program. And if you want that information, you can go on the website, Drone City website. That's what it is called. And they build drones for everybody, it seems like. Shocked me on that one. But yeah, these are the up and coming. There's other cities out there too, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get it twisted. But there's definitely other cities out there. But these are the main ones that come up. Like I was saying, there's other towns that are here. But like I said, the main thing is the economics that are driving these companies out to these smaller city areas. Okay. And like I said, they have colleges like in Rochester, New York, the University of Rochester. You got your community colleges in there. St. John Fisher is there. There's a host of schools and then same thing with Corning. I know Rome, Utica. Utica's got a college, and Utica College is in there. So there's a lot of talent pool in that area where they can just draw people from there, students from there. All right. But yeah, these are the up and coming on the East Coast, though, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you names of some of those schools that are some of the companies that are on the East Coast, the smaller ones. So this one is called Amphenol. It's a major electronics fiber optic company located in Wallingford, Connecticut. Population 45,000. Again, that's small. They used to be here in the Washington, D.C. area. Now they are outside of, they're in Trenton. It's not the same in Teaneck. Teaneck, New Jersey, I know exactly where that is. 39,000 people. Drone Up is a drone developer based in the emerging tech hub of Virginia Beach. You can't go wrong there. Another company, iJet International. It's also a part of a company called World Aware. Technology and services company providing integrated risk management solutions to offices in Maryland, in Annapolis, Maryland. And I'm half hour, 40 minutes from there. Another company called ServiceNow. That's based out of Virginia Beach. That is a cloud-based company. Has offices in Virginia Beach. Another company called MIS. Now, don't forget now, there's a big naval base area in that Virginia Beach area, so don't forget that. All right, so they get a lot of talent from schools in the area and from the naval base. SimIS, information technology company that's located in Virginia Beach, and last but not least, Walker Digital, innovation lab focused on creating and licensing new technologies based in Stamford, Connecticut. That's a very wealthy area. That, once again, small population, but people with a lot of money to live in there. So, but yes. But I hope you enjoyed my quick impromptu podcast tonight. Like I said, I apologize I didn't do a show on Saturday. I had to go see my granddaughter, which was a little bit more important. But like I said, this is a new song that I picked up the other day, and I hope you enjoy it. It's called Smooth Romance. A little something out there to enjoy. It's a new song. I picked it out, and if you like it, let me know. But on that note, we're going to end this small little quick podcast tonight. Hope everyone has a great evening. We will be back here on Saturday morning, bright and early, ladies and gentlemen. Please come to my podcast. Please come on. I want you to come on. Just tell me how'd you got started in IT. What do you do? I don't want to know your company. I just know what you do and what significance you have in your part in being in the IT realm that we're all in now. So yeah, come on back. Come on this Saturday, and we'll have a great time. All right, we're gonna end the show with Lighter Than Air, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful song. Hope you enjoy your rest of the evening. Take care. Good luck and be well. We'll be back here Saturday morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.